Now here's a real question. If I get in the room first and I'm just sitting in the room waiting
alone and just
click
press the record button.
does it say anything to anybody, or when they come in it doesn't say anything? Like it's just like nothing.
Technology and blind people.
Now here's a real question. I can hear myself. Huh?
Maybe. Let's see.
So I'm working with all new technology here. I actually bought a microphone because of this in school, and I'm trying to see how this works or how it sounds. So does it sound terrible?
No.
Okay.
No,
Perfect.
You're fine.
Perfect.
You're fine.
Perfect. Because my computer's audio sounded like I was drowning before, so this sounds better than good.
Yeah. Computer audio is what I came in here with. Although you should have been here for Ezrick's because that was.
Oh my God, it was atrocious. Apparently, I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear it, but I know they told me it was bad.
Okay. Here, let me see if I can give you a sample.
Oh God!
Hey, how you doing? This is Ezrick here.
Oh my God! Dear Jesus! Oh my God! Kill me, please! Just kill me. That is atrocious.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God!
So welcome to Inspirations Beyond Disabilities, everybody. Since somebody hit record, it was like a Mexican standoff. We all hit record. So I just went ahead and hit the live stream. We are here. I'm going to let Dave kind of introduce us and what we're doing and everything, because he is the professional podcaster. But this is still Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. I just got a group of guys together to talk like we had the group of girls doing. They're on vacation and I wanted to record. And these guys were like, yeah, we love talking. So that's great. So welcome to Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. We're talking about Xbox versus PlayStation versus, I don't even know, something about the cloud. And I want to stay on that subject because I'm not a gamer unless I played Little Big Planet. And that was because I could design the world that I was playing. You know what I mean? And I played Tiger Woods Golf for the free hats and stuff.
So apparently I'm introducing the show, but I didn't realize that this was like a paid gig where like one, I had to be professional. Two, apparently we get paid leave vacation for like possibly like, I think it's been almost like 4 weks since I've heard Shy's voice on this show. So Shy, because I'm your friend and I can come after you, you're the only one I can come after. I expect my paid vacation as well. This is Inspirations Beyond Disabilities, your podcast for a bunch of people with disabilities. Most of us in this community are blind, but it's not limited to blindness. We're here to discuss our thoughts, our feelings on our lives and things. Joining me, of course, is a bunch of wonderful people from TikTok. Public access guy who you met, that's Jason. But in my bottom right-hand corner is Jay, the baritone blurred. Hi, Jay.
What's going on? Hello.
Down in my bottom left corner is Ezrick, whose TikTok name I already forgot. So that's
Blind in NY.
How's it going, Ezrick?
Good, just living with this eye patch, which, you know what? Screw it. We're taking the shit off. I'm not going to bed anytime soon.
None of us can see it.
It's fine. It's fine. You guys won't see my eye. Trust me. I will put the shades on fast enough than you guys can think. I will not make you guys look at my nasty, atrocious, bloody mess.
My first eye surgery, the doctor was like, well, you can go back to work tomorrow. And I was like, no, I took 3 days off to recover. And he's like, nope, go back to work. I was like, I work in a warehouse. Doesn't matter. I was like, wow, you're just using me as a test, aren't you?
I spent the significant point of my childhood wearing eye patches. So seeing people with eye patches, even bloody eye patches, doesn't freak me out at all.
It's not a bloody eye patch, and it's not an eye patch. It's the shield that they give you after you get out of surgery to protect your eye when you sleep.
This is the thing, is all I can see is like that you have an eye patch on and there's like red on it, but I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Oh, well, the other thing that was irritating me about that thing is like, why couldn't they make it in a way where I don't have to tape the thing to my face? Like, like, why do I have to tape it to my face?
Here's the thing about accommodations. They're never convenient in any way. They have never considered our convenience, our, ease of use. They're just like, go ahead, Jay.
Half the time it seems like they're just trolling us for the fun of it. Like if you look at some of the technology, like I remember when I was younger, they made a special pair of sunglasses for blind and visually impaired people to wear outside. It's supposed to be like an all protective form of sunglasses. When I tell you, I don't know if you've seen X-Men or seen Cyclops from X-Men, but it literally looked like a all red version of Cyclops' sunglasses. Like these things
funny that you say that.
Line across the whole thing.
Stood out across the whole thing. Did not look like a regular pair of sunglasses at all. It was one of those things where, like, when people seen you, they knew something was immediately wrong. They don't care. Like, they've never really cared about that kind of thing.
It's funny that you say that because the shades that I'm wearing right now are the ones that they gave me after I got out of surgery. The big, blocky, plasticky, hard, like.
Anybody else keep a pair of those around just for scenarios like this, like going to the eye doctor in case they don't give them to you? I have a pair. I keep it. Just although my eyes, when I go to an eye doctor and get them dilated, they're dilated for like 4 or 5 days. Right. Not like
Jesus Christ.
Not like 4 or 5 hours like normal people.
Oh my God.
At least they give at your eye doctor, at least they give you sunglasses. They basically send us out of here like, thanks for coming.
No, you know what they do? They give out here in New York, they give you like the cheap little plastic.
Yeah, they're paper.
Like they're practically paper. Exactly.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this gonna do for me?
We don't even get those. It's basically like you leave with what you came in with. Like if you didn't bring any, you have none leaving.
I remember once they let me leave. I was by myself. I got dropped off, and then I left the appointment by myself. And I'm like, I mean, they know I'm not going to drive away. Like, obviously, like they literally confirmed again at this appointment that I'm not allowed to drive. But you're just going to let this dude just walk out. And the way the hospital is, because, it has to be beautiful architecture, blah, blah, blah. The minute you walk out of the Coli Institute, you're in this beautiful, like, glass dome ceiling. But what's great about that in the middle of the summer is that there's big sun shining in here. You're like, yeah. You're like, Mom, I was gonna go meet you at the parking garage, but however, I'm standing in the middle of the entire building, and I'm gonna sit down on this bench. Please,
because I can't see anything.
Yeah, please come find me.
I went as far as I could. I did. I tried. I do buy safety glasses. I bought safety glasses from LensCrafters and just told them to take the little logo off because I walk into stuff, but glasses don't really help me. And I have one pair.
You know what? I was just gonna say that is a brilliant idea because me wearing glasses would have stopped the Nerf gun accident. So,
I heard that regular glasses, like they're supposed to be like a recommendation for like some people like to just wear even like regular glasses, but not like there's no medication or prescription in the lenses. Like they're just, I heard about it and I've been asking about that. Like, is it safer just to have that? And I keep getting mixed answers from like my doctors and whatnot.
So I'm sorry, Jay. I function with 20/50 in my good eye. That's my vision. I can see through a very small percentage of central vision in that eye. Okay. That's not changing or anything. I've been told to wear glasses, not because they can correct anything,
right,
but to keep them safe and to not let anything hit my eyes. A couple weeks ago, if you watch my TikToks, I stopped for like a week and a half, just completely not putting up anything because my eyes just became all red and infected. Who knows what the hell got in them? Who knows? Wonderful America, not real insurance. Great. I could call a Russian doctor on the other side of the world and he prescribed, eye drops that I had to pay out of pocket for. Fantastic. Wonderful. But, and that cleared it up. We're great. Since then, though, for about 3 weeks after they started clearing up, I wore safety glasses because from working in my garage. Yeah. I wore those everywhere I left the house. And from that point after that, I've been wearing my prescription glasses from high school. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm 29, so I've been out of high school a long time. And I've been wearing those just to protect my eyes every time I leave the house now. So,
see, I thought about doing the same thing because I have 2 pairs of glasses. I have one pair that I made a mistake years ago, and I went to an optometrist. I started to have like real bad eye fatigue. This was the last job I worked. So they recommended that I go to this optometrist. And this optometrist, obviously, if you have like a serious visual impairment, an optometrist isn't going to really do a thing for you, but try to prescribe you the strongest possible glasses that they can. Now, before that, I didn't have a lazy eye, but I wore these glasses for a long time. And because of that, I got a lazy eye in my right eye. Like I was upset because I didn't want anything to like make the aesthetic of my eyes just go even worse. But I have those pair of glasses, and I have another pair that were recommended to me by my ophthalmologist that he wanted to try just to see what would happen. I have those. I wanted to get the lenses taken out of those and just get like some false lenses put in them. But if that's really a thing, I'm gonna talk to my doctor about that, because I'd rather have the eye protect, especially. And see, this is where, because today I walked up to the store, and you know how if you're walking down the street, you ever walk in those neighborhoods where nobody takes care of their trees or bushes? Yeah. So
I walked to McDonald's right before the show and walked straight through a tree, because that's, you know, what you do.
So many. There's one block in my walk to my supermarket that they don't take care of the trees like at all. It is like you are walking and then like down a regular street, and then all of a sudden it feels like you're in a war zone because you have to duck and cover every time. And there's always going to be that one branch you miss. And it's always me when I'm by myself, pow, right in the eye. So I'm like, I need something to protect against this. Like, this is annoying.
So go to the eye doctor in the Walmart and just say, hey, I'm looking for safety glasses. And he'll pull out this big box of stuff that they don't sell. And there's a little LensCrafter logo on it so that you can't wear it out. But he can take that off. He can just use Windex and wipe that off. And for like $29, you get a solid pair of glasses with just safety features, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And if you really don't care what they look like at all, you could just go to Home Depot and just buy them. Like
or Walmart's what is it? Halloween spot. That's where I got a bunch of fake big nerd glasses. I was like, yeah, those work too, you know.
Anything works. And my glasses technically have a very mild prescription in my left eye for my lazy eye. It's insignificant. It doesn't do anything. It does not help me. Yeah. If anything, it's supposed to reduce my eye fatigue. When I have severe eye fatigue, it helps. Other than that, no, it's useless. But that combination of just wearing plain glass basically on my face, it's probably better. And my mom's been saying it for 29 years. Wear your glasses, wear your glasses, wear your glasses. And I go, doesn't help. Who cares?
Listen, I wish I would have had this lesson when I was 10 or 11, because that would have saved the little vision that I had left in my right eye.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And that's what it is. It's if your vision is, you know, where it is, you don't want anything natural or worse to happen to it. You know, a perfectly sighted person, right, gets hit with a Nerf dart, because I think this is the story. I didn't get this whole story. You know, and loses a significant chunk of vision in one of their eyes, right? They still have a fully functioning eye. They still have other things, but if you have other things stacking on top of that, you're digging a slippery slope of not being able to see sooner than you might. You know, I assume I'll be blind by the time I'm 80, no matter what I do. But you know, I might as well slow it down if I can.
Exactly.
And wearing glasses. So what?
I'm the guy that if there's one raindrop falling from like 330 miles above my head, it's going right into my eye.
Yeah.
Like if there's one raindrop in the sky, it's going to go into my eye. And if I'm cooking bacon, that grease will hop across the kitchen.
All the time. All the time.
This is why I don't cook. This is why I don't cook. I hate cooking for that simple reason.
But see, here's the hack for that, right? An air fryer. You can air fry bacon and it will work. Trust me. I swear by the air fryer.
Everybody swears by this air fryer.
Grease, avoid getting popped with it. Air fryer. I guarantee.
See, I would love if anybody could recommend any manual air fryers. Let me know, because the air fryer that my family bought is like this digital mess of like touch screen. I'm like, yo, I'm glad you got one. Right. You know, I'm glad now we can have some really good eats. But like, how the fuck am I supposed to use this?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you looking for something that just has like physical buttons, or are you looking for something that's just like a knob that you turn?
Like start.
Either or.
Okay,
it's just the one that I have is digital, and it's like, bruh.
So mine has an LED screen for like the number for like the temperature and for like the time, but like all the buttons are physical. All the buttons are physical. And they have like preset settings. So like if you want to cook chicken, there's a button for that. If you want to cook steak, there's a button for that. If you want to cook like fries, there's a button for that. Fish, all that kind of stuff.
What crappy air fryer did I buy?
I have no clue. Jay, definitely send the link.
I'll send you the link for it, man.
Thank you. What I do with stuff like that is I'll take a picture of it and then I'll make it my screensaver on my iPad or my phone, because that way every time I'm just sitting bored, I can just stare at my screensaver and go, that's where the bake button is.
Yes. Yeah.
I did that with a map when I moved to Tallahassee. I did a map of my location and then I cut it and I put it on my iPad screen so I could learn where everything was before I started walking around, you know.
See, I'm terrible. I don't learn where things are until I'm about to move out of the area. Like I remember there was this when I lived outside of Pittsburgh, we were always looking for something to do, something fun to do. I didn't know there was a pool hall like right down the street until we moved. I'm like, that's been there the whole time. They're like, yes, we've been open now for about 10 years. I'm like, great to know that now. I don't find things until it's time to go. So I guarantee you when I move out of this area, I'm going to find all of the cool things that I could have been doing, but I didn't know were existed. So
it's funny that you say that, because like so I just moved into this apartment about like 2 years ago, and we've been, before that we were staying in my grandparents' apartment that my grandparents have been in there since like the early 80s. And well, not early 80s, late 80s. And how is it that when I finally move out that building, the elevator is now accessible, that it talks? Like down the street there's a smoke shop. I'm like, yo, what is going on? I move out and everything gets better.
Right.
I mean, when I left my city, when I left the city I grew up in, everything's just closing. Everything, no one can afford it. No one can afford to live there. I had lost all the places I could walk to for like quick food, and like all of that was just like disappearing before my eyes. And
that is New York City right now.
But I had to move slightly south, which is just actual Cleveland, which is a little bit of I don't know. I like my neighborhood. I'm happy with it. But the McDonald's is just ever so slightly further away, and there's not as many things to get to. And the reason I have to pick this area, like this is the only choices. This is the only public transit area back to my job and back to the way I need to get to. And like, if I were to move the other ways, I'd be completely cut off from everything else. I'd have to be in that city and never go anywhere else ever again. That tiny little pocket would be my entire space.
Yeah.
And I can't live that way.
No, you can't.
I know about areas like that. Like there are areas, has anybody ever like lived in or been to Texas, like Dallas, Texas at all?
Yeah.
No.
So Dallas is basically broken up into several sections. Like they call it the DFW area because although it's all considered Dallas, there are like small cities within Dallas that like you can go to, like Plano, Frisco, Rockwall, Garland. And there are literally areas where the bus does not, like they have like richer areas, they have literally paid the buses not to ride through those areas. There's certain areas like the bus will go to the edge of the town and stop. And depending on where you live, like your bus could, the last bus of the day, like don't have a job that lets you off at 8 o'clock or later. Because
the bus stopped running at 7, because it stopped running at 7 o'clock.
And it runs
once in my life.
And it runs once an hour.
Right.
So if you miss that one bus, you are done. Don't be late.
You're there till 6 a.m. the next morning is what you're there.
That's how the L's are in Chicago. It's like after a certain time, you're fucked.
Yes.
This is why I am blessed to live in a city where we have a 24-hour transportation system. The only time our transportation system started taking a break was during COVID, and that was for cleanup.
Yeah, like that's how Philly is with septic.
Yeah. So it's depending on where you're going, I guess, is the city problem. Like I could get to any of the college campuses from here, the community college campuses. I could get to the one mall within the area, right? I can get to this thing, but if you go just past that, you're just in the middle of nowhere. You're in really nice houses that don't cost too much money, really affordable areas where there's stuff, but every single thing is 4 or 5 miles apart from each other.
But is that
there's no bus?
Is that considered like the county or the suburbs?
Yeah, it's suburbs, counties. It's that, but I don't know what made that decide.
Oh, I can tell you why. A lot of cities intentionally make it that the buses run scarce out there, because I know in Frisco, for example, what they did was instead of, because it used to run once an hour and then they paid them to stop running at all, because their logic is they don't want the type of people that have to catch the bus to be frequently in that area.
It's almost like it's discrimination.
You would think so. You would think so.
You would think so, but then you ride the bus and then you realize what their thought process is.
That's true, man.
Here's the problem. That's the core of this problem. And I'm not trying to spark any fires, because I think literally everybody and probably listening to the show and everybody on this call is sitting right on the bus. And most of the people on the bus are fine. Most of them are fine. But there are enough nut jobs on the bus that you never want to go anywhere near. And there is a fake but also semi-real, thought process to saying, I don't want these people coming to our city. We don't want these people in Shaker Beautiful Heights. That's a made up place. Shaker's a real place, but like
Shaker Heights sounds like it's from a television
show. but like they don't. I would understand that thought process, but you do ride the bus and you realize that most of these people are fine. The way that everybody says, don't go to that community college campus, it's really rough, and then you actually go there and you're like, all these people are fine. Occasionally we get a nut job, but I don't get any more nut jobs than I got, on the actual nice campus. Yeah. It's the same. It's exactly the same. But people have these fake perceptions of, people who are hurting are somehow also, bad people, which is false.
There's also systemic things going on to keep that nut job on the bus where he can stay out of the rain and weather. And, if he had a home baby or somewhere that he could go be taken care of, our buses would be safer and the stigma would be different. But right now, I think Jay is just saying that poor people aren't allowed in some communities at a certain time.
The two richest neighborhoods that I can remember when I lived in Dallas were Frisco and were Highland. I want to say Highland Park, but I don't think that's the right name. But like, cause one of them, like Oprah Winfrey owns a house over there, and I know for a fact, like the bus can ride there a few times during the day, but at nighttime, that bus is not allowed to stop there at all, like at all. So if you have a house remotely in that area, and you got to catch the bus, you're gonna have to walk home. But that's the problem with like living in suburban areas. Like, they're nice, they're beautiful. I remember when I worked out, there's a suburb out here outside of Philadelphia called Bluebell, and I remember they would let me set up a job where if I didn't want to work 5 days a week, all I had to do was make sure I hit 40 hours. They didn't care how I got to 40, just get the 40 hours. So I would try to do 10, 10, 10, 10 and be off one day. But you had to be real careful, because if that 10 went over, like it was a call center, and call centers, your luck is always the last call. You always get your last call 2 seconds before you're supposed to get off your shift. And that person wants to talk about everything. So you have to be really quick to kind of get off that call, because if you miss that bus, that's one of those areas where you could walk to the bus depot, which was at the mall, but between where you were and the mall was the equivalent of trees and total darkness. It's basically a horror film between you and the bus depot. So you can try to walk it if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like, it's fine to walk during the daytime. It's creepy in the day, but it's really creepy at night. You have to be really careful. So
it's like those live streams on TikTok where they're going through the woods.
Yeah. Have you ever started walking on a sidewalk and then like suddenly found yourself on the side of the road batting down trees and garbage because the sidewalk ended?
That's Texas. Texas.
That happens all the time. Texas. It's like that here too.
I don't think I've ever told y'all this. So I actually was going to put a video out about this, but people on the podcast, I guess, get to see it first. So me being stupid, when I was living in Dallas, this is like, I think like the last year before we just moved and came back to Philly. I was coming home one night. This was before I had a cane, and I was too prideful to take a cane. In downtown Dallas, there is buses run down there, but also Dallas is one of those places where it's not really pedestrian friendly. So you could start on sidewalk and end up anywhere, like in the grass, going down the hill, and for my case, going onto the on-ramp of a highway. So I was looking for a bus depot. I was looking for a bus, not bus depot, but a bus stop. So for the 36, I was trying to get home. I didn't know you had to turn. I kept walking straight. And at night, my night vision has never been good, like ever in my life. And I'm asking people for help, but just be real, because I'm a big black guy and it's dark, nobody wants to stop and answer any of my questions. So I'm kind of walking. I'm on the phone with my wife trying to figure out where I'm going. I'm absolutely terrified. I ended up walking onto the on-ramp of a highway. And I had to try to find my way back down, because if I didn't find my way back down, I was going to be walking alongside a highway. And you already know how bad that's going to be.
Yeah, nobody wants Jay to be roadkill.
That would have been it. But like those kind of areas like Dallas will literally, like the bus, you ever Google map, like getting on a bus, like how far you have to go? It'd be like you catch the bus and then you have to walk like 3 miles. I'm like,
Jesus Christ, no.
We want to talk about map navigation for a minute, right? We're going to talk about Let's talk about map navigation. Here's a real cool perk, right? I'm an Apple user, right? I've got an Apple Watch on, right? If I set up walking directions, I'm not trying to sell you on Apple. I'm just trying to make a point and tell you a story. If I walk with my Apple Watch and set for walking directions, it'll tap me on each side of the watch, which way to turn, when to turn, which way to go. Right.
Wow.
And that's amazing. It also, especially when I moved to this area for the first time and I'm walking down my street for the first time at night and can't see my house. Super useful when it's like your destination is on your right. You're in front of it right now. And that's just enough information to say, okay, I can see enough to know that's my driveway. That's the stupid beware of dog sign on my fence. Like, I got it. We're good. Now, if I try to apply that same concept to, using bus directions, doesn't give damn two shits about me. Here's a list of your directions, where to get on and off. You better figure it out based on what you're seeing, because we're not helping you. And the bus drivers don't give a damn. Hello, accessibility experts in Apple and Google worlds who are making these map applications. It'd be really great if you applied those same principles that you do to walking directions to our bus directions. So tell me, you're using my GPS when I'm on the bus. When I say navigate,
actually navigate into that direction.
Why don't you tell me you're 3 stops away from your stop?
Oh,
you're 2 stops away from your stop.
That would be lovely.
When the bus says your next stop is Warren Road and the east side of Beeston fucking nowhere, you gotta get off. But the bus doesn't always talk, because bus drivers are annoyed by that. They turned it off. It's there. They turned it off. You get on the bus and you say, can you let me know where this stop is? Because I've never been on this bus and I don't fucking know what it looks like, nor let alone can I see. And they go, yeah, fucking whatever. I don't fucking care. And then you're on the bus, shit out of luck, when you ride it all the way to the end of the line, because they don't give a damn. And so
wow,
I don't know.
That's frustrating. I'm sorry, but if that ever was to happen to me out here in this city, it's like a bus driver was to. No, I'm just saying, you as somebody with disability, you can call the city and tell them, yo, your bus drivers are being very disrespectful and violating ADA laws.
You're right, and they are. But here's the problem, and this is probably a me problem, and this is me. One, I'm too damn proud to tell everybody in the world I have a disability. I don't care how you want to spin that. The other problem is I don't appear blind by, I'm not wearing sunglasses. I don't have a cane. I don't use it. Right. I have an ID cane that I bought mostly because of TikTok and have never really used it except for one scenario, which is only to show people that I'm visually impaired, because from the outside, you would never know. So these bus drivers don't really get it. They're not getting in an actual queue that says, oh, this ginger guy who got on the bus is blind. Like, there is no they don't know. I'm telling them as much as I feel I need to tell them, but they don't give a damn. They might treat me differently if they knew, but they don't. And so there's a fine line they have to walk here.
I mean, one of the big reasons why I got a cane to begin with was because just simply the identification can change a lot of people's attitudes and moods about your condition. Like, some days my sight is better than other days, and some days I feel like I may be able to do a little bit without the cane. I still take the cane with me because honestly, when people don't see it, they don't care. Now, most times when people see it, they don't care either. But you have a better likelihood of people actually taking you seriously with the cane than without.
Which is why I ordered an ID cane. Yeah. Right. I'm at a point as an adult, as I'm going to call myself a young adult, but I'm starting to feel really old.
Oh my God, please.
And like, so I have to be independent. I have to do these things on my own at this point. Right.
Yeah, you do.
Getting to my current job, right? Doing that, getting to the places I know and I'm familiar with is not a problem. But these scenarios and like these weird scenarios, which is like going to get the COVID-19 vaccine in the crazy ass giant arena with the U.S. Army in an area I'd never been in with no idea where I'm going, right? Like those kind of scenarios, this is beneficial. Yeah. Right. But definitely. I also hesitate to put myself in those scenarios. The only time I do anymore is when I have to. But that's why I now have that option for people to be aware of it. Right. I can get on and off the bus going where I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's those problems when I don't know. And I would really like it if my maps would treat me the way they do sometimes when I'm walking.
To be honest, and I hate saying this, like I say this gritting my teeth, but I feel like Apple would probably be the first ones to implement something like that because Apple really honestly seems to care more about integrating accessibility into things. So if that's something that enough people were like, hey, Apple, can you work to where you like we appreciate the walking GPS that has been fantastic, but can you work it for like public transit GPS? And I feel like they would be the first ones to jump on that over Google, who seems to be Google's coming to the party. It's just Google is currently lost in transit. So
and here's the thing: Apple Maps Transit is trash too, right? Google Maps Transit, at least in this area, is at least accurate. The schedule is at least in there. It makes sense. Right. But it is not automatically navigating me the way Apple Maps does when I say start walking directions to home. Right. It'll be like, okay, Dave, go this way, and we'll tap you and tell you when you need to turn. You don't. It'll if I have my AirPods in it, it'll say turn. Right. It's not going to leave me in the dark, or so to speak. But. And Google Maps will do the same thing. It's just not quite as nice for walking directions. Interesting. I just wish that transit would treat it the same way. It's going places that are further. This was not my topic.
GPS in general has a real hard time in the urban areas. Like
stuff like New York, stuff like downtown Cleveland has a problem. Anywhere else, like suburbs and the suburb streets, the main roads. Right. I don't usually have a problem with the GPS. It's usually accurate enough. I'm not going to walk off a cliff, at least.
Like the one.
I think it has to do something with like buildings interfering with signal connections because, like,
I think it's also the amount of people on the network.
Right. That too. That could be it too. That's definitely it.
But it's close. We're getting there. It's better.
Yeah.
Everything is better. Yeah. And Apple has this Zoom display. I put a picture of it on on Instagram because it just makes everything bigger. It's not like Zoom. You can still Zoom, but it makes everything bigger. And I was like, wow. So I wanted to share that with everybody. So check out Public Access America's picture and you can figure out how to make everything bigger on your phones and tablets and stuff. And I feel like it's more congruent. It's system wide in Apple, where Google is hit or miss. Like they might have some great features in one area, but then just totally bomb in another area.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Google, the biggest problem with Google, being a Google user, is it's not so much Google, it's the software, it's the phone, the hardware that's on. So like Samsung has always tried to be this thing where Samsung at one point was trying to push Google out of the space. Like, we want to be your, your voice assistant. We want to be your maps. We want to be your everything. And unfortunately, because it's not Google's native device. Google can't really tell it like, hey, we don't want this on here. With Apple, everything from hardware to software is completely theirs. So they have the freedom to integrate whatever they want, however they want. And I think that's where the biggest problem is, because now like Google just dropped their version of Seeing AI called Lookout. And it's okay, but it has a lot, like it has a ways to go to really catch up to Seeing AI.
I mean, Seeing AI isn't great either.
Yeah, it really isn't. I was just struggling earlier yesterday to figure out whether or not a tank top was black or white, and it.
Right?
Yeah, like what?
Did it read you everything on the freaking label when all you wanted to know was the size? I was like, stop. It's
they kept reading my sheets. I was like,
AI is still talking.
I love when it doesn't know what it is at all. And it's like unclear. And you're like, I know it's unclear. It's unclear for all of
us. That's priceless.
Right. I love it. But that's what we were on that subject. And I wanted to say my topic was kind of like when you need to get a ride, right? You need to get on somebody's schedule. Like if your friend is going out.
Don't even get me started.
You end up going to like 2 or 3 stores just to get that, do that 5-minute thing. And it's because what Dave was saying that made me think about it, because now I'm suddenly thrown into places that I'm not familiar with. Like, and now I could be in Florida or Alabama or Louisiana in 5 minutes, and I'm like so lost everywhere I go. And I just wanted to go to the UPS store. You know what I mean?
Man, that is a whole episode unto itself. So I've like my entire life, I felt like I've been on other people's time, but I'm a person that likes to be like, to be early is to be on time is to be late is to never show up at all. So I'm a person that likes to get somewhere. If I have to be there at noon, I'd like to be there at 11:40. And you guys know why, because you have to scope out your space. B, you have to get comfortable with what you're doing. C, you probably have to get over the trauma of transportation that it took to get you there. So like you want to be ready for doing whatever you need to do.
Yep.
And I hate when I have to be somewhere at 12 and somebody pulls up at 11:55. You ready to go? I'm sorry. Are we about to make it on time? Or are you about to make me late? Like, am I about to have to explain? Like, am I about to have to spend the first 5 minutes of me being somewhere to explain to somebody else why I'm late? That's not my style. Like,
it's embarrassing too.
It really is. Oh my
because then they're sitting there thinking it's your fault because you're blind.
Yes.
When obviously it's the person that you had to rely on.
Yes.
Right.
Trust me, oh my God, I hate that. That's why,
and it's still
legitimately,
and then you still have to say thank you.
Yes.
Some of the nicest people, I mean, are my friends. They're my support system. So I don't want to complain. I'm happy for the ride, but sometimes I don't need to do a 9 hours worth of chores and errands just to go and pick something up at Publix. You know what I mean?
That's the other thing. When you're kidnapped, it's like you've been kidnapped. I was just going to the post office. It's been 12 hours. Can we go home now, please?
Do you mind if we stop here? Okay.
If we have to.
Can I go to the bathroom? You pee a lot. That's not really the issue right now.
Oh my God. It's funny that you say this because like next Thursday I have to go down to Philly at my appointment is at like 9:30. And my mother has already decided, we're gonna wake up early and drive down there. And I'm like, you are the worst when it comes to time management. I don't know how well this is gonna go. Let's pray that Dr. McGuire is willing to wait 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
So that means you're going to be in town here about what, 6 a.m., 7 a.m.? Getting there?
Sounds like if his appointment's at 9:30, he should be here about 11.
We used to jokes about that. Like, okay, well, I'm not going to be there at 10, but I'm going to be there at about 10:75. Would that work for you?
Yeah, right.
It's basically the equivalent of 11:15, but
the worst is when they actually give you the permission. Oh yeah, you could show up late, and that other person that's with you that knows that.
Yeah.
Oh, now they think, okay, now I can just take my sweet time and bullshit, and it's like, no.
No,
That's not what that means.
you're not doing the nurse a favor. You're doing me the favor, which
Yeah.
means you do what I ask and not what she says. You
Yeah.
know.
But that's why, like, I forgot who I was talking to about it, but like the benefit, it would be nice if Lyft offered, like Lyft and Uber offered like a discounted rate for individuals with disabilities.
Yeah.
I think that would make it a lot easier to just be able to, on your own, just go wherever you need to go and come back to wherever you want to come back to.
Well, you know what I think would be something at least beneficial that New York has actually like been trying to work on. I don't know if they like made it fully accessible to the public, but our paratransit in New York City, Accessoride, they have a program called the Pilot E-Hail program, which you can legitimately pull out your phone and call, into the site, tell them, where you are and where you need a cab to, and it'll show up like an Uber within, I don't know, like 15, 20, 30 minutes. It won't be as quick as an Uber or a Lyft, but it'll be the same price as a train. So it'll be $2.75, $3.
I like that.
Which I think they should really make it more readily available to the general, not the general public, but as far as like the general disabled public, as opposed to picking just a select few that can have this.
Right.
But the issue with that is you're going to see a lot of people cheating the system, and people are going to get mad.
Yeah, it's amazing how many things are built for disabled people that regular people just end up using and taking just
advantage of.
Like text. Text was for the hearing impaired, right? And now everybody uses it, right? And they're like, I don't give a fuck about hearing impaired. Yeah, that's how it started, right? Like I was just thinking, people were so mad at transgender people for using bathrooms, so we came up with a gender neutral bathroom. Guess who that helps? That helps me because I don't have to look at the little sign. Now I can just walk into the bathroom and I feel good,
What a strange conversation to come back to. Hi, I just want to say fuck Spectrum.
Fuck Spectrum.
He's talking about cable. He's talking about cable and internet.
Yeah.
Fuck Spectrum.
I agree.
This podcast now sponsored by Spectrum.
Would you like to get a streaming service we're going to call you 3 or 4 times a day about? We're going to offer it to you for $24.99 a day, and you'll get all the cable channels you're already stealing from your mom. You'll be fine. It'll be great. That's basically my life. No, my internet deciding every time I record or go live or do anything, it decides to go completely out at least once.
Jeez.
So welcome to my life. So we're on everybody else's time. That's what I got. And then and we somehow came to bathrooms.
Yep. No, we're there. We're back to that. It's really, I really appreciate people for doing me these favors and taking me places I need to go. But sometimes I have other things on my plate too, and I have a full schedule, and I just need that hour cut out. I don't need to go for rides everywhere. Sometimes, and I think it's because people are like, oh, and I hear it all the time. Well, don't you need to go out? No, I don't need to get out. Like if I want to get out, I go walk in the front yard. Like I don't need to like just get out to get out. That's not me. I fill my schedule. I don't just sit here aimless and in a chair with my eyes closed going, I wish somebody would come over and take me outside. That's not me.
Like occasionally I got to get the errands done. I need the cat litter. I need the cat food. I need the dog food. That big errand, like that's 3 20-pound bags of things. I can't carry and walk 60 pounds 7 miles. Just can't do it. It's not an option. And I appreciate those rides, but you're right. To get out of the house, all I need is a cold beer and my umbrella and my chair outside. I'm good.
See, I got a rooftop.
Yeah.
For me, outdoors is overrated. I am a very much indoor person. Like my outside of like going outside with my kids, like playing outside with my kids, I could be in the house all day. I'm fine. I don't need the fresh air has become overrated because it's not really fresh anymore to me. Like it's if you live in a major city, or shit, if you live in the hood, it's not fresh air. And y'all know what I'm talking about. It's not fresh air. You are not going outside and expecting fresh countryside air. That's not what you're about to get.
That is true. That is true.
I just moved 2 miles away from the dump, Jay. So
yes.
As we speak, I
look at inhale. Like no, I'm good.
As we speak, I live between like 3 gas stations, and all I smell is gasoline sometimes, and I'm just like, bruh.
Whenever he introduces Jason on a podcast, and like, Jason, all the way from 2 miles away from a dump. That's what I want. That's what I want it to be.
It's true. It's true. But the rent is amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I see why it's amazing.
Well, it's at the tail end, and they're not getting approval to like extend it, which means they're burying it over, and they're gonna start calling it just a park. So we're hoping in like 3 years it's closed and we don't smell it anymore. And this was a great deal.
That's how you do it.
Hey.
Like I said, the neighborhood I grew up in, which is literally 2 miles north, right? Mm-hmm. It's becoming so expensive that no one can live there. And so everybody's just moving this way. And because this is not the nicest area, I'm just kind of hoping that entire group of people just kind of move this way.
Mm-hmm.
And that in, 6 years or whatever, when I have children, maybe, and they have to go to school, and that schools are, a thing, right? Like, they'll be fine. Because everybody's going to have to move up here.
Aren't you too old to have kids? I know.
29.
Y'all are.
I love it.
29 is not even that old.
You say that, I feel old as hell.
When you were born, Dave, I was legal drinking age, so you can feel young.
I'm the baby of the group, apparently.
Totally. That's why we picked you. So the other topic I had was I was watching Riddick, right? Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and now I saw that there's going to be a Riddick 4 to be announced. Is he a superhero, or is he just insane?
I have never watched Riddick. That's a Vin Diesel. That's a Vin
I don't even know what this
Diesel
is.
Wow. That's amazing. No. So I don't have to talk to any of you anymore?
So after Fast and the Furious, I've seen Fast and the Furious with him. I've seen Knock Around Guys with him. I've seen Triple X with him. After a while, like Chronicles of Riddick was that movie that came out when I had Vin Diesel fatigue, where it was just dude, you're in everything at this point. And I need a break, so I'm going to skip this one. Is it Riddick the one where the whole movie's in like the dark?
Kind of. Pitch Black is.
Yeah, I think it. Oh wait, Pitch Black.
Yeah. Who got on a train? I'm just curious. Who just
For real?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what that was too. I thought it might have been we just bought a lawnmower. I thought my roommate might have been testing it out
in the house.
Yeah, right there, right.
I'm sorry. I just tried to ignore it, and then it just got louder and louder.
But it wasn't me, which makes me really wonder.
It literally sounded like somebody was on a train. Somebody boarded a train and was now sitting on a train going full blast.
Honestly, to me, it sounded like somebody was turning on a fan next to their mic, and that's what was happening. Or like the AC was just starting up right next to their microphone.
That might be me, because my desk, like the AC is like right off to my left.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, it is. Wait, are we being noise suppressed right now? Is noise suppression working that hard, or did you just turn it off?
No, I think we got the temperature control set on the air conditioner. Like when it gets a certain temperature, it just cuts off. And I guess it just got a little too hot for the air conditioner and just kicked itself back on. So yeah, I got to find a way to move my desk somehow. But yeah, because I remember I literally just bought. I bought the mic yesterday from Amazon. It arrived today, so I've been testing it out and trying to see like how it works. And I've been trying to figure out like what the heck is that hum, and then I cut the air off. It's like, oh, that's the air conditioner. The microphone's not picking up the air conditioner. So
my favorite thing you edited out, Jay, of all time, is when you came back and you're like, I lost 30 drafts. Apparently I had a makeup filter on all my TikToks, and you're like, I can't post these. I'm like, why didn't you post these?
No. I had one video where, for some reason, because you know what it's like when you try to edit a video on TikTok, because the labels aren't like really friendly whatsoever. So you might accidentally throw on a filter you weren't intending.
Yup.
Apparently
I had a black and white filter for like the longest.
See, black and oh, I thought you actually meant to do that.
I really did it. I really did it.
I'm like, oh, that's nice. That is a nice signature right there. Just put yourself in black and white. No, I had on the rainbow makeup filter, and I didn't know I didn't know until my wife was like, "Hey, babe, you know you have a makeup filter on," and I'm like, "Oh God, no!" And I had to delete that. But I lost all my drafts because TikTok. I didn't know this was a TikTok problem. So apparently, when you were like, there was a point where TikTok, I guess they were doing because TikTok is fantastic with telling you they're about to do an update or about to do some maintenance. Their track record is just stupendous. So it was that day where I had zero, like it would show you how many people you were still following, but basically shows you had no followers, and like a bunch of my videos like just didn't work. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe this is a me issue because everybody else seems to be functioning fine. So let me go ahead and uninstall and reinstall. And I had because I do all my videos in advance. Like there are very, very, very rarely do I make a video that day and post it that day. But like I make all my videos in advance. So I'm like, all right, so let me go ahead and see what happens. And I came back and like my draft folder is completely gone. I'm like, you can't be serious. I had 30 videos for me is like 1 or 2 weeks worth of stuff. And I'm like, I have to do this all over again. And thankfully I write stuff down before I shoot it because I have lost many episodes of stupid things because I didn't write it down. So I started writing things down. So fortunately I had it written down to the point where I could shoot it again, but like, good Lord, you have to be. And the worst thing is, I think honestly, your drafts folder should probably carry over from device to device, because if you have a phone and an iPad, like they don't carry over. Your drafts folder is just whatever device you shot it on. I think it should carry over because
I think it does now. I'm not sure. I gotta double check.
It's still doesn't.
I'll make a draft on iOS and see if it syncs in iCloud. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
To update because I'll be able to go back and forth between my iPad and my phone.
Well, that'd be nice because honestly, with my next phone, whatever it's going to be, I have a year to decide.
So this is my notebook of ideas. You mentioned writing things down. Writing things down is a completely meaningless thing if my handwriting is shit as hell. So
no, I type mine out in voice memo in Google Notes. Like I cannot. I'll look at my handwriting and go, well, that's something, and that'll be the end of that. Like I don't know. I was told since I was a kid I had like doctoral handwriting, like prescription style handwriting. I don't write things. I remember my first laptop was given to me because my teachers couldn't read my handwriting.
I used a thing called Alpha Smart, which is basically just a note-taking computer. It's just a keyboard, basically, that says you can type into this. And that was at elementary school. Like, you're never going to learn to write, and everybody ever read it. And I can read it if I'm really writing really carefully, really perfectly, to be like, I need to be able to read this later.
I gave it the writing a long time ago.
It's funny that you guys say this. Like I was on the phone. My brother has just been, one of my brothers has just recently been locked up, and he called me the other day from jail, and I guess nobody had told him that I had recently had eye surgery. And he was trying, I was asking him for the information, where to send him money, send him packages, whatever, to support him, as much as I could. And he was like, oh, do you got a pen and paper to write down the website? I was like, bro, give it to your sister, give it to my brother, and they'll text it to me. Cause like, I can't even see my own hand right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see a hand right now. There it is.
Oh yeah. That's my daughter. My little shadow. She's like, why can't I sit on your lap right now? Like, why can't I? I'm like, I'm on camera. You cannot do that. And you are not decent to be on camera at the moment. But she doesn't care. She doesn't care. That's just.
Well,
now
my youngest is going to ask her a question. We wanted to ask her what it's like to have such an amazing dad.
Oh, she would not. Oh, she will look at me and be like, who? Like him?
What?
Like I am her emotional support human. That's all I am to her. Like whenever she needs comfort or hugs, like she's my shadow and she will stick by me close. But like give her something else she wants and I'm dead to her. Like if I give her tablet right now, I'm dead to her until she's.
Sorry about that, guys. Really sorry about that. I realized the dog was probably down here barking at you guys.
Didn't hear it.
Didn't hear it.
That's fantastic.
Did not hear it.
I had to throw my headphones off, go running upstairs because the notification was like less than a minute ago. And I'm like, oh, please tell me this guy didn't leave. I had to sign for my PS5.
That's what's up. You got to tell me how the accessibility on that is because
I will.
I want a Nintendo Switch and I want a PS5 because Xbox is just. I have an Xbox One and it is just accessibility wise, it is horrible.
It's not any better on this. It's not any better on the Series X. I'll tell you that. It's the same.
I have the 1S, and the problem is like they gave accessibility to the places that you needed the least. Like they gave it to like the start menu, the home screen, which is fantastic. That's great. But unfortunately, when I click into this game, the reason I bought this console, it gets silent on me. And I'm like, that doesn't help me at all. Like
even the narration feature, like it sucks. It sucks. It really sucks.
This is a problem on developers, and I don't want this to be a gaming podcast, but like the reality is developers
hold that thought.
Developers don't give us anything. Like they don't give it to us at all for accessibility.
Yeah.
Right. Spider-Man PS4 is one of my favorite video games of all time. I almost completed it. My friend Jeff, my best friend in the whole world, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
He was like, Dave, did you finish Spider-Man? I go, yeah, I finished it. He goes, really? I go, yeah, I didn't get 100%. He's like, why not? And I go, because I can't catch the goddamn pigeons. And he's like, that's not that hard. I go, yeah, but I can't see them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's how it is.
Yeah.
I've literally played games where I thought I was walking down a long street. Turns out I was just walking into a wall for like 30 minutes.
Yep.
Right.
And it's not until somebody tells me, like, hey, you know what game I did love though? And I wish I could have played the whole game like that. You remember Arkham Asylum? The entire Arkham series.
I hated it.
No,
Sorry.
I'll tell you.
It was too dark. It was too dark for me.
No, but here's what the benefit was. If you put it on detective mode, all of your villains were red. Yeah. So it made it easier to see like each, because like every villain lit up red, because it was like you needed to know like who was on. Everybody else, like their skeleton would light up like white or light blue or something like that. But like the villains would light up red, and it just made it easier to find out who was there.
It's that contrast. It's a matter of contrast, and this applies for all sorts of things we do. Right? It's easier for most of us, I think, to read white text on a black background.
Yes. Yep.
But why? Because it's just easier to see. It just is. And stuff like when I'm playing Spider-Man and like there's a dumbass puzzle to solve, and I can press the scan feature, and it'll be like, the only thing you really need to know is that thing that's glowing yellow. You don't even really need to know what it is. You just got to press the right button. Stuff like that. It blows, it blows my mind, because I'm like, I can play this. But it for other people, they don't even think about it. But little things like thinking about how contrast works in games, thinking about the ability to not only, it's like the lack of voice acting, right? I can only read for so long. I can read, I can see it. That's great. But if you put miles and miles of text, tiny font, I can't read it. And if that's a significant chunk of the game, I'm just out.
I'm not playing.
I'm done.
Yeah.
If I can't get through the tutorial because it's 3 hours of reading,
right?
We're not playing this.
I'm not playing it. I'm just not going to. Even if it's a game I'm sure I'd love, right? And then once I got through that part of it, it'd be fine. You have made your game non-accessible from the get-go.
Right.
Legitimately, at that point, this is where I just suck it up and I go, you know what? I'm just gonna play the game vicariously through somebody else and just watch it on YouTube.
But that's why I have a Twitch account. Like there's 2 Twitch streamers that I watch consistently, because number one, like I went in there from the jump and I told them, hey, I'm legally blind, like I can't see none of this text. And they were like, okay, we got you. And literally every game, they read all the text out loud. Like they dialogue the whole text. One of them started voice acting the text. So it was like, you can kind of get to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the whole game, like I would just watch people play games, because as much as I miss the game, I can't make the mistake of buying another console to just let it sit and collect dust.
Right.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
But here's the thing: is like all that text is in there. It's a development choice. I don't care if it's in the accessibility options and I have to turn on the robot voice.
Yeah,
right.
Just let it read.
I don't give a damn what it sounds like. I know that that's not the ideal experience for most people, but if you gave me just
that option,
I'd be so happy.
That's it. Here's the thing, right? Because that I've heard this argument, and it bothers me in the gaming community. They say they don't want it to read because it ruins their experience. they don't want the contrast because it ruins their experience. They don't want it to guide, like have an arrow to show people which way it goes because it ruins their experience. Here's the beautiful thing about gaming. You don't have to turn those features on.
Right.
They're not for you. They're not meant for you. So if you don't want them, just like there are different versions of difficulties that you can play in the game, there's a thing called options where you turn it all off and have the experience that you want. Let me at least have this experience so that I can play the game. Because otherwise, it seems like you're gatekeeping us out of the gaming community.
And it wouldn't just be helping visually impaired. That the same thing applies for pointing arrows for people who just struggle with figuring out where to go. Like these are all options that are already built into most of these games, and they just need to turn them on.
And then you just figure the fact that you have to care somewhat about accessibility because that scrolling text at the bottom is there for the deaf and hard of hearing. So clearly you care about accessibility at some point. We just need you to care just a little bit more.
But I think you guys were talking about this when I left. Is somebody gave a damn at some point to demand subtitles for fucking everything. And no one thinks about it anymore. But the reason that subtitles and really closed captioning, if we want to get technical, right, exists for the hearing impaired, right? There is not a channel over the air, let alone over digital cable, where we can put whatever we want in the files for audio descriptions. That's not just a default thing that's on or an option on Netflix. Sometimes it is. It's there. It's great when it is, but it's not always there. But I guarantee you, for all
subtitles exist for every last one of them. Every last one of them.
Closed captioning is on for everything, and it's a law. They have to include it at this point.
But this is why I feel like, because the ACB, God bless them, the ACB is working their behind off, trying to make, like, there are so many people, like, I just realized today, Peacock finally got into the audio description game. So now that's another streaming service. Because who got into it before? HBO Max just got into it. A couple other
Netflix had it for a Netflix
was the first to the party. Netflix was the
first to the party.
Netflix was like, you ain't got to sue us, we got y'all covered. And then after that, Prime Video jumped in, and again, to their credit, Apple jumped in, Disney jumped in. There are some people that you didn't have to sue, but then you had this. Sorry, go ahead.
Even to some extent, I can understand why some things that were produced before we made this required, right, don't have it by default. Everything that went to a theater, I don't know when they added audio descriptions, right, had a track that was recorded for every movie. These files already exist.
So
just find them.
There's no excuses anymore. I understand if you make a new show, you make a real show with a real budget for Netflix, not some indie documentary or something where budgets are constrained. But if Netflix gave you some money, you should be required.
AD should be required. And a lot of Netflix originals, AD, like I remember seeing at the start of the pandemic, Netflix would release a new show or a series, and they would be like, on the side, they'd be like, audio description coming. They would let you know, like, hey, it's not like, it ain't here yet, but trust me, audio description for this
working on it.
I'll even accept that. And I understand that they need to add things over time. But these platforms they need to do it. We can talk about this because this is our space, right? And I've tried to make videos on TikTok, but we don't have that space with 1 minute videos. And I don't have 3 minute videos. I'm not cool enough.
Neither am I.
Like, we added captions to TikTok. TikTok built in auto captions. Editing those captions is awful, so I don't know what mine actually says.
I don't even try anymore because it can't even get my name right. It can't even get my screen. I'm just like, why bother? But I feel bad not saying that, but like it's too frustrating.
When I remember to turn it on, that's great, and I do when I remember to. And I try to turn it on for everything, but when I like try to stitch something really quick, sometimes I forget, right? But what TikTok did fucking wrong, and let's not even sugarcoat this is fucking shit, is they didn't make that an option in the settings to turn on for all videos. If you're going to implement auto captions with robots, why the fuck is it upon the users? I think it should be in my options to go in and edit them like it is on YouTube, to correct them as needed, right? That's great. But why the hell in the world is it dependent on the creators to click the auto subtactions button. Like,
you know what? That is true, because
it should be in my settings under accessibility, captions, and then on. And then every video I go and watch on my For You page should have the auto captions on. And if the creators are kind enough to go in and correct them, that's fantastic. But fucking why is it an option to turn on when you make a video?
Yeah, I don't know.
It makes no sense. I realized that the way it processes, it has to process each video individually and stuff that before they implemented that feature couldn't be there. But if I'm a captions user and I'm going through captions and I'm swiping through my For You page, if it has to pop up a video and go, this video doesn't have captions yet, would you like to sit here for the 3 seconds it'll take to turn them on?
Right.
You say, yes, please turn them on for this video, and it does. Right? Great. And then move on, and then it shows you the captions. It doesn't take long.
But here's the thing.
It's a broken ass feature.
Here's the thing, right?
It's a broken ass.
This will get my TikTok account shut down, but it just is what it is. TikTok serves two masters. And if you know TikTok and you've been on TikTok long enough, you've always, at some point, you've ended up on the wrong side of conversations on TikTok. TikTok will create captions for those that demand equality, fairness, accessibility, but then make it so difficult to use them so that the people who don't want to see them ever, despite the fact that it doesn't involve anything on their end, don't get too upset. TikTok likes to play both sides of the field. That's why TikTok will ban individuals who talk about fairness and accessibility and keep individuals who will basically gaslight an entire community on the app. But at the same time, if you gaslight too much, they'll eventually ban you. TikTok doesn't want to really, it wants to look like it's helping, but not really help at the same time. So it has captions, and it's nothing for TikTok, because let's be honest, TikTok, the only reason why TikTok is making 3-minute videos now is because people have realized, okay, this isn't good enough. I want to watch a longer video and go back to YouTube. TikTok is perfectly fine with taking things from YouTube, but not enough to actually be as accessible as YouTube. So that's really what it is.
I don't think it's that people want to watch 3-minute videos. I think it's that people want to make 3-minute videos.
If I could do audio descriptions for my YouTube videos, if YouTube would implement it as a file I could upload, I would do it when I felt it was necessary. Most of my videos are me goofing off and trying foods with my friends. Doesn't really matter. I don't think you need any visual context to enjoy my stuff most of the time. But if there were something that needed it, I'd be happy to go in and upload an MP3 file that had that. And it would be me going, look at the stupid face I made. Like
I would love to do that. I might take the extra time to do that.
And I would do it because I'm a creator who gives a crap about doing something like that. But like that actually takes effort, unlike the robot captions. That's the problem. Is it's all fake anyway. Yeah.
Like a prescription commercial, right, Jay?
This episode of the Inspirations Beyond Disabilities podcast is brought to you in part by the awfulness at TikTok.com.
And definitely not Spectrum.
If you want to pay way too much for your internet, make sure you go to spectrum.com/inspirations beyond this. I'm sorry.
I started getting ads in my podcast, Public Access America, and I was like, isn't Cox is around here, right? And he's like, my friend was like, it's Cox or Spectrum. And he's like, why? I was like, because they're sponsoring my show now. So
on Anchor.
On Red Circle.
Oh, Red Circle. Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Well,
I put up my first podcast on Anchor this week.
Nice. My friend Adam from Adam Has a Beard went to Anchor. And I was like, so we got beef now because you're Anchor and I'm Red Circle. I get it.
I mean, I don't care.
No.
And look, I've been paying like $200+ a year for like, I don't know, 10 years almost at this point to host podcasting. Anchor finally existing is fantastic.
Right.
If somebody else is finally doing it, that's great. Somebody will win out in the end. And thank to God it wasn't fucking SoundCloud, who never gave a shit about anyone.
That's right. It might be Facebook. Facebook is starting podcasting too.
Fuck Facebook.
Facebook is just like trying to hold on for dear life. Like I saw, I think it was a TikTok where it was like, all right, I'm deleting my Facebook. All right. you're gonna lose all your access to your friends. Okay, I don't care.
I don't have
And
friends.
like it was like it boiled down to the only reason that we need Facebook now at this point is to remember people's birthdays.
Yeah, right.
Which, wow, that is sad. Like if you can't remember, the people that are like most important to you's birthday, then you need to get a day planner or something, because
A Google Calendar, sure. Google does the same thing.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. So why do we need Facebook anymore?
We don't. Well,
We
the
don't.
thing is that they stole massive amounts of our data, and I feel like if I leave it, I'm giving that to them.
Yup.
It's like
Right, because the only thing they're giving us in exchange is access to their platform. That's what we gave them a bunch of our data, which is valuable in its own way for them.
Right.
And they should be paying us, to be honest, to use their platform, but they're not. Every time you every time you post on Facebook, they should give you like a dime.
But here's
Exactly.
the thing. Here's the reality of it. If you leave Facebook and stay on Instagram, you're still in the same place.
Well, that's
Also
Yup.
WhatsApp. So like if you leave one way or the other, because the argument has been I'm leaving Facebook, Instagram is much cooler, and I'm like, they're the same company. They know what they're doing.
my mom's Facebook randomly got deleted a couple weeks ago. Right?
Wow.
Nobody knows why. She's like, yeah, I'm off Facebook. I'm like, well, you're on Instagram. She goes, yeah. I go, yeah, you're still on Facebook. She goes, what? I go,
Yeah.
You're still on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
They generate profiles for you. So if you're not on Facebook, you still have a profile there. It's just a generic one without a picture. Sometimes it's a picture. Sometimes couples have, like, I have a relationship page somewhere on Facebook from a relationship I had 5 years ago, because that's what they were doing at the time. You know what I mean? And now the relationship's gone, but that page might still be there.
Shaking my head.
Thank God all my embarrassing like high school shit is fucking on MySpace, and no one ever saw it.
Yes.
It's gone.
And now it's gone.
I'm so envious. I am so envious.
Wow.
You should be. It's gone. I all got buried. All my weird
I'm
emo
envious.
shit and my like all of it. It's just it's
I
gone.
graduated high school in 2002. There was no Facebook. There was no MySpace. There was just memories. And if you don't still have those memories, thank God no one else needs to know about it.
That's right. I'm so happy my mom was too poor to buy a camera. I graduated in 1989. There was no internet. You know? We just got rid of rotary phones.
Oh, I remember rotary phones.
I've never dialed on one. I know what one is, and I know how to dial on it, but I've never actually made a call on a rotary phone.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
I imagine it is. That's why I never actually. There was a rotary phone still at my grandparents' house when I was a teenager, and I could have made a call on it, but it seemed complicated and dumb.
Wow. I don't know how long we've been recording, but it's over an hour.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening to the Inspirations Beyond Disabilities podcast. Of course, if you enjoyed this podcast, it's available on Public Access America or on any of your podcatchers. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms at Tell You Dave. Of course, if you guys enjoyed my stupid face, it's on the Snack Network, and you guys can watch me trying all sorts of new snacks. Jason, why don't you tell them about Public Access America?
Public Access America is a bi-weekly conversation split into two parts. We do our live streams Sundays, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and then I turn those into podcasts, which you can hear all over the internet. But look for me on Twitter at Public Access Pod.
And of course, we have Jay, the baritone blur. Jay, tell us about stupid people to say to blind people. That's
stupid people to say to blind people.
It's stupid things to say to blind people.
Stupid things to say to blind people. So if you enjoy random sarcasm, if you enjoy the nonsense and goofiness that came out of my mouth during this podcast, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at @TheBaritone You can also find me on Twitter at Baritone Why just Baritone Blurred? Because Twitter's too cheap to actually add extra letters for your actual username. But yeah, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, @TheBaritone Blurred.
And if you want to be chill, why don't you check out Ezrick? Ezrick, you want to tell us about what you do getting there going, chill.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want, any experiences about being a legally blind New Yorker or just being a legally blind pothead, which, oh my God, it's been a week and a half that I haven't smoked.
Wow.
I'm proud of you. Good job. It's been about 12 hours since I've had a beer, so
Well, the thing is, if I take a hit right now, I could possibly just kill my vision. So let's not do that.
Let's not do that. And I'll say that you were a much better podcaster today, not high.
Make sure you guys check us all out. Our links are in whatever place you're looking, and we'll see you guys next time here for another episode of Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. Or maybe you'll hear Shy and Blind Beauty and them talking about what kind of Starbucks drinks they want to be. See you guys next time.
They're going to kill you.
They
are going to kill you.
They're going to kill him. I'm not.
They're going to kill you.
I'm blind as far as I'm concerned. I can't see it. I ain't seeing anything.
The views and opinions expressed in that last sentence are reflective of Dave
Oldie. Come at me. TikTok. Tell you Dave. Bye.